What is a true fact that sounds like a conspiracy theory? 1. Project Sunshine, in which the US government, in the wake of dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ordered a major study to better understand the effects of radiation exposure/nuclear fallout on the human body, so an international network of agents was recruited to locate recently deceased children and steal body parts from them to use for testing. 2. The reason only the orange variety of carrots is widely available is because the Dutch like the color orange. They leveraged their powerful trade networks to make it so. 3. The Monster Study. The Monster Study was a stuttering experiment performed on 22 orphan children in Davenport, Iowa in 1939. It was conducted by Wendell Johnson at the University of Iowa. Graduate student Mary Tudor conducted the experiment under Johnson's supervision. Half of the children received positive speech therapy, praising the fluency of their speech, and the other half, negative speech therapy, belittling the children for speech imperfections. Many of the normal-speaking orphan children who received negative therapy in the experiment suffered negative psychological effects, and some retained speech problems for the rest of their lives. 4. Project Northwoods. JFK was proposed an idea from the CIA in which they would rain terror on the American people via random terrorist attacks, military ships being sunk and plane hijackings in which they would blame on Cuba and therefore get the public behind the idea to go to war with Cuba. JFK declined. 5. The Hawaiian royalty was toppled by a fruit company, Dole. 6. The FBI was constantly stalking Ernest Hemingway and that led to his self-death. 7. Both the US and Russia use dolphins and whales to spy on countries. The US also uses seals as in the animals for protection at some of their marine bases. 8. The ancient Egyptians had a pregnancy test that actually worked. 9. Project Acoustic Kitty. Basically the CIA wanted to put microphones and transmitters inside of cats and use them to spy on the Soviets in the 1960s. It cost about $20 million and was a huge failure. Allegedly the first attempt at this resulted in the cat running out into the street and getting run over by a car almost immediately. 9. Saddam Hussein was given the key to the city of Detroit. 10. The US conducted a fake vaccination drive to find Osama bin Laden. 11. Years ago the big light bulb, as I like to call them, decided to purposefully turn down the lifespan of light bulbs to sell more, and the companies who didn't agree were alienated from trading with primary sources for light bulbs. 12. The egg industry as a whole embarked on a 2-year war on a single vegan mayo brand. 13. The US government tested drugs and chemical weapons on its own soldiers and various animals during the Cold War at the Edgewood Arsenal facility. It's also where we got bulletproof vests and some vaccines. If you want to ruin your day, look up Bad Trip to Edgewood. 14. Ernest Hemingway suffered from ongoing paranoia that the FBI were surveilling him, which was thought to be a key factor in his suicide. Most chalked it up to mental illness at the time. Decades later, his file was released, proving he was under investigation for his ties to Cuba, his phones were tapped, and he was right all along. 15. The Church of Scientology had members secretly infiltrate US government agencies in order to destroy unfavorable documents and investigations into them.